Narrator, deep reflective tone.
They found her at dawn, the young Apache girl, swaying from an ancient cottonwood tree, the rising sun casting long shadows on the earth below.
Visuals, cold desert dawn. Villagers gather around silently. A single raven calls. She was known as Tala, meaning wolf, a name earned by her fierce spirit, but that morning the fire in her eyes had gone out forever. Narrator. They said it was justice, punishment for betraying the tribe, but no one could say exactly what she had done. Camera slowly zooms in on Tala's face, cut to black. Visual, distant shot of a lone rider approaching the village. He came with no name, just dust on his boots and eyes that had seen too much. The villagers called him the Drifter. Narrator. He wasn't Apache, he wasn't white, he was something in between, a ghost of old wars, a man who listened more than he spoke. Scene. He walks past silent villagers, a dog growls, elders glance at him. He asked one question, what did she do? And no one answered. Visuals, campfires at night, children hushed, women crying. Narrator. Some whispered that Tala had fallen in love with a white soldier. Others claimed she stole tribal secrets and passed them beyond the river. But the Drifter didn't believe in whispers. He believed in truth. Scene. He visits Tala's old tent, finds a beaded necklace, reads her journal. She didn't betray them, he murmured. They betrayed her. Visuals. Flashbacks Tala arguing with the tribal leader, a secret meeting at night. Narrator. She had discovered something, a secret trade deal between the chief and the railroad men. Land sold for gold, sacred land. When Tala threatened to expose it, they silenced her. Scene. The Drifter rides to an abandoned mission where a retired priest confirms her story. She came here, weeping. She said she feared her own people more than the cavalry. Visuals. The village center. Drifter calls a tribal gathering, thunder rumbles. Narrator. He laid the truth bare before them, letters, witnesses, her journal. Gasps, anger, denial. The elders squirm, but the people, they believe. You hanged a wolf, the Drifter said, but it was the snakes who tricked her path. Scene. One elder tries to attack, the Drifter draws fast as lightning. Gun clicks. Visuals. Bonfire consuming false treaties, villagers in mourning. Narrator. The guilty were cast out. The village wept not just for Tala, but for who they had become. They buried her under the oldest cedar, a wolf carved into stone, her necklace left on the grave. Now she can run free, an old woman said. Among the spirits. Visuals. The Drifter on horseback at dawn, wide desert horizon. Narrator. Long before the noose tightened, Tala and the Drifter had met once before. In Patrick's caged in construction of these divisions. Narrator. He was bleeding, delirious, left for dead by both sides. She saved him and never spoke of it again. You owe me nothing, she had whispered, but remember me when the earth forgets. While the tribe buried their shame, others stirred in the east. Bender Nosivus on the divisions, while usuals a company man named Cartwright rides in. He's charming, ruthless, and he wants the deal Tala tried to stop. Finished. The girl's gone. The Drifter will follow. Then the land's ours. Nenin are coming, with guns and a paper the chief signed. Narrator. Even in death, Tala's fight wasn't over. Now others would bleed for it. In Patrick's, soon men, I had don't beat. Narrator. An emergency council was called, but the old voices had lost their strength. Some wanted to fight, some wanted to run. The Drifter, he wanted truth to burn everything false. You sold your daughter for silver, he told the chief, and now you'll watch silver bring death. Bender Nosivus personated by that. She wrote of a hidden spring sacred to the tribe, and a chest, buried beneath a marked stone. Inside, her mother's medicine pouch, and letters from soldiers who respected her. Narrator. She tried to make peace. Not war, but peace has no buyers. when bullets are cheaper. Narrator. They thought it would be a simple claim, a signature, a smile, a handshake of conquest, but the village stood ready. Narrator. The first one is a Sogol 9. The drifter stands at the front, rifle across his chest. This land has blood in it, he says, and it remembers. While usuals has the death staken in the person of the divisions. Narrator. By sunset, the air stank of gunpowder and regret. Cartwright is wounded, crawling. The drifter corners him. She begged you to leave them in peace, he growls. And you answered with fire. While usuals has the death staken in the person of the divisions. Narrator. I don't build their sack. Narrator. They built no monument, just a fire that burned for 3 nights and 3 days. Children danced. Old ones wept. The drifter placed her medicine pouch on the flames. She didn't die for gold. She died so you'd open your eyes. Bandar Nosivus personated by that. The drifter is at the song man said the person of the divisions. Narrator. He carves one final word below her name. Truth. The drifter has not professionability to a customer of Luesh. Narrator. Soft. He never knew her last name, but he gave her one the desert would remember. Scene. Dawn. The drifter leaves again, alone. No words, no goodbyes, just hooves on rock and the fading sun behind him. Some legends are carved in stone, others in silence, and some, like Tala, are written on the wind. Final shot. The wind lifts dust over her grave, a wolf's howl in the distance. When the fire died down, the railroad men were gone, but the tracks remained, a scar carved through sacred soil. Visuals, burnt fields, rusted rail pieces left abandoned. Villagers gather, watching the horizon, unsure whether they won or merely survived. They had defended their home, but not their future. The drifter rides north to Fort McAllister, seeking an old friend, Sergeant Mace, one of the few soldiers who once defended Tala. Mace was dying, consumption, they said, but his mind was sharp as ever. Scene, candlelit room, the drifter sits beside him. She was the best of us, Mace says. Better than the men who wore the flag. He hands the drifter a sealed letter, addressed to Tala. Scene. The drifter reads it aloud under the stars. The letter speaks of a planned pardon, of talks with Washington, of a promise broken by time and betrayal. She died, not knowing hope was riding toward her. Tears fall silently into the dust. A young soldier named Elias follows the drifter, curious, loyal, naive. You knew her? He asks. No, the drifter replies. I failed her. But Elias stays. Even the loneliest man casts a shadow, and sometimes shadows learn to walk beside you. Word comes from the east. A new treaty is forming. Land will be seized, water rights sold. They called it progress, but it stank of vultures circling something not yet cold. Scene. The drifter heads to the gathering of land barons. He brings no weapon, only her journal. Inside a dusty courthouse, surrounded by lawmakers and tycoons, he opens Tala's journal. Read this, every word, then sign your treaty. Some laughed. Some grew pale. One man left the room and never returned. But the vote passed. The land was sold. Back in the village, clouds gather, not from the sky, but from within. Men who once fought side by side now argued. Fear does that to people. The chief, now disgraced, urges surrender. Others speak of exile. A young woman, Tala's cousin Ayasha, speaks instead of fire. She died The drifter knows they'll come for him, not the village. He sets a trap in the old mines west of the ridge. They want blood? Let them bleed underground. Scene: explosives rigged, old shafts wired. Elias volunteers to help. Narrator: one was hunted. The other still believed in heroes. Both would soon learn. Truth burns brighter underground. Scene: White Wolf and his gang enter the mine, taunting, cocky. Then silence. Then fire. Then screams. Narrator: the mountains swallowed them whole, as if the earth itself had made its choice. Only White Wolf survives, crawling out, half-blind, gasping. At dawn, the drifter waits. White Wolf appears, bleeding, laughing. "You're just a ghost with good aim," he spits. "No," the drifter says. "I'm the bullet you left behind." They draw. The gunshot echoes across the canyon. Only one stands. Scene: 1 year later. Ayasha teaches children the story of Tala. Elias stands watch. The village thrives. The drifter is gone. No one knows where. But under Tala's tree, a single white flower blooms. Narrator: final words. Some names die on paper. Others root themselves in soil, in memory, in blood. Tala. Truth. Fire. And the man who carried her name farther than any bullet could go. Screen fades to black. Sound of a wind through cedar trees. Scene: Tala'nın mezarı. Bir çocuk Ayasha'nın kızı çiçeğe dokunur. Hafif bir esinti yükselir. Narrator: they say the flower only blooms once a year and only for those who still remember her name. Ayasha fısıldar: Tala, you're still with us. Çocuk bir beyaz tüy bulur. Gökyüzüne doğru bırakır. Scene: Elias şimdi genç bir koruyucu. Gözleri uzaklara bakıyor. Elinde Tala'nın eski kolyesi. Narrator: he could have left, found a fort, worn the badge, but he stayed. Ona bir çocuk yaklaşır. Is it true she spoke to the wind? No. Elias gülümser. The wind is her. Scene: Washington, D.C. Masalarda haritalar, raporlar. Bir senatör dosyaya bakar. Apache Girl Incident, Red Hollow. Another land dispute? No, sir. Bir danışman cevaplar. A miracle or a warning. Narrator: even where suits ruled and ink replaced blood, her story still whispered behind closed doors. Scene: in the distance, a tired man appears on the mountain. He walks slowly towards the horizon. There are men who ride into legend, and then ride beyond. Final scene: Red Hollow. Children play. The wind shakes Tala's tree. A young girl smells the flower. A wolf's howl is heard in the distance. Narrator last words, emotional but proud. Legends don't end. They circle from earth to sky, from fire to flower, from Tala to every child who dares to speak the truth, even when it costs them everything. Final shot. The stone on Tala's grave glows with light. The camera slowly rises. The music swells. Fade to black.